Welcome to Girls on Fire.
Hey guys, we are back here with our Girls on Fire with, of course, me and Kristen, but we're so happy because we have a third redhead here today, Chyrill Sandrini from MultiMedical Systems and HTM Insider. Chyrill, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, ladies. I'm so excited. And I know we kind of joked about this one time. If you know me, I'm an all-in kind of girl. So I had to be one of the girls on fire.
I love it. Kristen was like, we gotta make sure Chyrill gets that red wig. And I'm like, I feel like she's going to do it because she already said it. It looks so good. We love when people do that. It's awesome.
I felt it. I was like, I just know if anyone's gonna A, do it, and B, pull it off, it would be you. And exceeded expectations. You look so amazing.
Nice.
So we're going to learn all about Chyrill today. And like I mentioned, MMS, and Chyrill's also nominated for TechNation's Tech Choice Awards Influencer of the Year for 2025. And we want to get into the podcast. So we have a lot to talk about today. So we're going to just kind of dive right in. But first, we're going to go ahead and start with a segment called Moments of Joy. And we are going to start with you, Chyrill. So this is all about something feel good that has happened to you. It could be as little as somebody just said a nice compliment to you to something, really extravagant. So we want to hear what's been going on with Chyrill.
Gosh, I'd like to find the little moments of joy, like even a bed made. I'm one of those layering bed kind of persons. I don't know why I have to walk back and forth so many times, but it just makes me feel good. It's joyful to me every day. But my biggest joy is my grandbabies. I mean, nothing could being a Mimi is the best. As people are starting to learn, my husband and I are RVing full time now. So hence the RV background. It's real, it's not fake. It's not yeah, it's not one of those backgrounds you look like you're in the Sky Tower or something. Nope, this is real. So when we come to Kentucky, in different conferences, we're staying in an RV park, which brings me joy. I love being outside. I love meeting new people, but really being a Mimi, and this is Mimi's bus. My almost 2-year-old grandson calls it. It's Mimi's bus. Mimi's Jeep.
So
Yeah. But just like airplanes right now are a big thing. And so he can hear them, and we've watched the birds, and now he could hear the airplane, he could see the airplane. So on Sunday, we took him to a viewing area in Austin at the airport there, and the joy and light in his eyes of just watching those planes, and he would say, "Mama planes." It was like medium sized. The bigger plane were daddy planes, right? And the little planes were baby planes, right? Just that. And my granddaughter, Emmy K, she's named after me. My middle name's Kay. And just the joy in her eyes when you say, "Emmy K, are you Mimi's girl?" And the way she lights up, you just can't, I mean,
I love that. You can just tell, and I love Mimi. I love hearing what people like. Did you choose to be called Mimi, or how did that? You're like, I want to be called Mimi?
no, the kids, my oldest daughter, Cassandra, she started calling me Mimi to her dogs. So she would go, "You want to go to Mimi's house?" They're like little bitty dogs. "You want to go to Mimi's house?" And they would get all excited. And so it just continued on. And so I'm now Mimi's to humans, which I love. And with 3 girls, I hope the family gets bigger and bigger as the years go on. And, I have more littles calling me Mimi and more to shop for. And at this point in my life, it's all about them.
Yeah. Okay. Kristen and ours aren't as heartwarming, I feel like, as yours was just now. We're gonna look.
This happens every time, Megan. We bring on guests and they show us up with their moments of joy, and I'm like,
All right, Kristen, hit us with yours first.
Well, okay, I guess to kind of go on the nature outdoor, my moment of joy was last weekend. I went to Gatlinburg on a girls' trip, and that was my first time there. pleasantly surprised. It was the perfect time of year to go. The leaves are like it's been so hot here, like it's literally 80 degrees here right now, which is frustrating, but the leaves had not fully fallen, but had changed. So like hiking, seeing the outdoors, I saw like 20 bears in a span of 2.5 days, which was crazy. But just like spending good quality time in a new place with friends and just exploring somewhere new that was like hiking outdoors, touching grass was just like so joyous.
I feel like that's the best time when you literally just like get a house together and like you're with some of your favorite people. Like I feel like those are the best times just hanging out.
We stayed inside and just like played games and hung out. Like, I mean, I was kind of scared to go outside because of how many bears there were. Like we had a driver come pick us up and he called and was like, I'm here, but don't come outside yet. There's 3 black bears right up by your front door. I'm like, what? I'm like, so we're all like this at the front, like looking, taking pictures. We're like, oh, they're so cute. He's like, please get back. We're like, okay.
Well, that's good. I feel like mine is like the most like crazy. You guys are either going to be on my side for my moments of joy or you're not going to be. There's like 2 sides to this. So this weekend on Friday, November 1st, I pulled out my Christmas decorations. I'm a Christmas girly. I can't wait till Halloween ends. I'm not completely decorated and like I still have to get some more things, but I am obsessed with Christmas. So I pulled everything out and I made my boyfriend go in the attic and get all the stuff down and like put the lights out and everything. But Kristen, I know you have a take on Christmas decorations and the whole thing. So we'll get to that in a second. But like, I'm like all in. Like, I'll do the Christmas movies and the decorating and all the music and everything early on before Thanksgiving. So how do you guys feel about that?
No. You gotta have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. It's because there's no gifts.
Food, no gifts.
I love to cook. Yeah, it's right. And I just love fall. My middle daughter, Carlina, she's like you, Megan. She's like, well, can we, Mom? Because it's their house. They're like, can we, Mom? Put the Christmas decorations out now. And I'm like, before Thanksgiving? We got to do Thanksgiving, and then you can put the Christmas decorations out. She's going to sneak some in there, though, but.
No, Kristen's a good take, Kristen, though.
Okay. Well, usually I'm strictly after Thanksgiving, but since this year Thanksgiving's so late, my new rule is you can decorate before Thanksgiving, but no music, no movies. Like save that for after Thanksgiving. If you want to put up the tree, fine. I might break my cardinal rule and put it up the week of Thanksgiving, but only because then when I leave for Thanksgiving and come back, it'll already be done. It's more of a lazy factor than like a celebrating factor. But I'm with you. I'm like, the music, hearing Christmas music right now, when it's not only 80 degrees, but 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving is crazy.
Okay, wait.
My husband can only really whistle one tune. It's a Christmas song. And I'm always telling him, you can't do it until after Thanksgiving.
Or never, whichever one. Or just cut it out completely.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. Let me just rebuttal and then we're done with this. But so December, I'm not barely gonna be home in Georgia. Like I have to go to Chicago December 1st for RSNA, and then I am going to I have something else. Nashville. I'm going to Nashville for like 3 or 4 days and for work stuff. And then I'm going to be in West Palm, where I'm from, in Florida, like the whole week of Christmas. Like my birthday is 2 days before Christmas. So like I'm going to be there the whole time, almost till New Year's. So I want to enjoy it. Like I don't want to like not have it up for that long, So that's where
we talked about you in the office, Megan, when we were going over this. We're like, well, Megan's from Florida. And like Floridians, I feel like get a little bit different because in my mind, when it starts getting colder is when you can officially start celebrating. It's never that cold in Florida, so celebrate when you want.
Yeah, you gotta live.
Whatever makes you happy. Whatever brings you joy, Megan.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
We won't rain on your parade. Decorate all you want.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to go into our hot topic, which of course is Chyrill Sandrini.
Hot topic.
So we're going to talk about how you started Chyrill, what you do at MMS first. I kind of want to go through that. So if you can go and first tell everybody what your role is at MMS, how long you've been there, and then maybe just kind of how you got started in this biomed industry.
Yeah, I'm the director of client solutions and marketing at MMS and the host of HTM Insider. MultiMedical Systems was a company I joined, it'll be 10 years ago, March 1st. I was with a smaller company at the time, which completely focused on surgical. And for quite a few years, MMS did surgical as well and endoscopy, and that's kind of my specialty. But we only had that for, I want to say, what was it, Megan, up till last year? But before that, I mean, it was strictly surgical for me. It was sharpening, it was rigid endoscopes, cameras, anything flexible. That's what I dealt with. But the company was having some infighting between brothers that owned the company. And really quickly, I was managing a company I didn't want to manage. And so I met Darren Neeland and a few other people at a CMIA meeting, which I had no idea what it was, why I was going. They told me to bring a raffle prize. I'm like, for what? hence the first thing of beer, the first ice chest of beer. But I called him. We went to a call, went to a sales call. I brought him in to do biomed at a place where I owned the surgical space and repairs. And he left and he drove off. And I was just really struggling. My dad had just passed on November 1st, so he's been gone 10 years now. So this just shows you the time frame. And this is in December. And he drove away, and a light bulb hit. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, Darren, I got an idea. This may seem totally crazy, but why don't you buy Phoenix Medical?" And he was really quiet for a second. I didn't know how to take that. Yeah. And he goes, "Well, if we can't buy Phoenix, can we buy you?" With my prior law enforcement background, I'm like, that's really not legal.
You're like, whoa.
You really can't buy people. But yeah, that's how the relationship really started, and it got completed. The entire purchase was completed March 1st. So I became an employee of MMS. And that's how I became really involved in the HTM industry. I was still a little confused about what clinical engineering was. It was very abstract to me. I really thought in the beginning that because I'd pick up instruments and scopes. I thought I had to go pick up those red bags that say danger on them. I thought that was biomed.
It is kind of confusing when you first get in here. I feel the same exact way. I didn't know anything about this industry, and I had to learn it forwards, backwards. I had to talk to people that really have been in it, and that's how I honestly have said that I've learned the most from being here, because it is really confusing, and there is a lot of people out here that don't know what biomed is until you get in it.
Right, and you Google it, and what comes up? Biomedical engineering. I mean, there's a lot of people doing test speakers and trying to find cures and such, right? I was really confused in the beginning, what it was. So I came from a prior history. Before that, I had an event and wedding planning firm. I had a catering business that kind of went hand in hand. Sandrini Concepts was the name of it. I was published as a winning event designer as far as table decor.
That's
awesome. And then prior to that, I never did any. I didn't know. I just made stuff up. To be honest, that's like I do now. Just make it up. Fake it till you make it. And then prior to that, I spent 17 and a half years in law enforcement. So, yeah.
I did not know that.
She's told me that before. I actually don't remember you telling me about your event business, but the law enforcement, talk to everybody a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people don't know that.
My jaw's on the floor. What do you do in law enforcement?
I did all kinds of things. So I worked at 4 different agencies throughout my career. I had to retire due to an injury that occurred during work. So I medically retired. It was really hard because that's who I was. It's who I identified with. My husband was a police officer. My whole family, my dad, my brother, my uncles, FBI, DEA, law enforcement, not highway patrol across the country, right? I didn't know anything else. That's what I went to school for. That was who I was. I taught for the state of California Police Officers Standards and Training. I developed an academy for them. And that's why teaching and creating curriculum isn't hard, because I went through a very intense academy. But I've done everything from dispatching, emergency 911, what are you reporting? And, 1 Adam 12 and 1 Adam 14, respond to a 415 domestic. It's going to be at 123 45 Elm Street. 2 subjects, they're outside. They're involved in a physical altercation. The female is white female, 5'6", red hair, black sweater, black jeans. She is now running down the street with a hammer, right? And so, 1 out of 12, copy her on scene, right? So that's my voice. But there was also a deputy sheriff. I worked a vice. My first red wig was for an assignment, and my name was Miranda Wright. Do you get it, Miranda Wright?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I worked on hostage negotiations. I also worked critical incident command. So that's how I based everything in my wedding planning firm was on a critical incident command system. So you have your nucleus is where the event's occurring, maybe it's the hostage, whatever it is, and then you build out from there. It's a very organized plan. So I just made my bride and groom the nucleus. The parents come out, and I just built out from there. It's what I knew. And being organized and detailed oriented, it's just something that's ingrained in me. Like, ready? Phonetic alphabet. Adam, Boy, Charles, David, Edward, Frank, George. I could do the whole thing. I could just, Megan is Mary, Edward, George, Adam, Nora. Kristen, King, Robert, Ida, Sam, Tom, Edward, Nora. I got skills. I shoot really well.
You're blowing our mind today, okay? I feel like everybody's learning things about you that nobody knew.
I'm speechless.
Well, I'm one of those people that believe, it was really hard when I had to retire, when I had to take my badge and, my equipment all in. I mean, it was a sad time. I mean, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me for the longest time. 14 doctors, neurologists, you name it, the best doctors. And they came out to the discovery that I have thoracic output syndrome. Now, it's everything goes between your first and your second rib to your shoulder. So I don't have full rotation. And when I do that, I don't want to do it a lot because my eye will twitch and my hand will twitch. I'll get a tremor. So if you ever seen that, that's what's going on. I've used it too much or something. Mm-hmm. So removal of my first rib was the option, and it wasn't a good. It wasn't going to be a good prognosis on what might happen to me with more pain or further surgeries. So I just opted out of it. But I've reinvented myself so many times that I just find that you have to take those opportunities and jump and leap, and it's scary. It's frightening. HTM Insider was frightening. I never did a podcast, but you just gotta take it, right? And if you fail, get back up, try it again. But you only get one chance at this life. One.
Sure.
Right? Where you guys
are. You're amazing. Kristen and I don't shut up, okay? So we're literally just like in awe listening to you.
I'm scared to watch this back because the whole time I'm gonna be like. But that's so beautiful. And like, that's honestly what, like, I think especially young professionals need to hear, because it is scary, like starting in your career or just in life in general. I saw something really funny the other day that was like, growing up, you always like, don't tell me what to do. And now I'm like, please give me a step-by-step plan with exact instructions on how to continue on in this life. Like when you're younger, like, don't tell me what to do. Now it's like, please help me. Tell me exactly what to do. Like, so it's really nice to hear, just go for it. Because a lot of times I think we do hold ourselves back with fear. And it just, the worst you can do is fall down and get back up again. So I love hearing that.
So, Chyrill, we want to talk to you a little bit more about HTM Insider, how that all started, and kind of like how you guys, pick out your guests and that sort of thing. So go ahead and give us some details on that.
Well, my daughter came home from college because it was during COVID, and she was in her room trying to do classes. They were still trying to figure it all out, and she just knew that mom was on the phone all the time, placing BMETs. I was getting calls from the East Coast. I was in California at the time. So I'd be up at 4 a.m. working, asking for 6 technicians. This place needs 2 technicians, and, equipment sales and, all the things that were happening during COVID that everyone was just flying by the seat of their pants, right? So I was working very long days, 14, 16 plus hours, just trying to help the HTM community to stay afloat across the country. And so were my colleagues. We were all working very long hours. And one day she walks out of her room and she goes, "Mom, what exactly is a BMET?" I'm like, "Oh." And so I explained it to her. Like, a matter of fact, I think you'd be really good at it. And so she sat down, I showed her HTM in a box, and I let her talk to some of the most amazing industry leaders. She was privileged to do that, and she went to CBET. She signed up. Her and her boyfriend at the time signed up, and they both became BMETs. She's no longer in the industry, but she's going to school to come back so she can be a manager in HTM. So she had to find something more conducive to school schedule. It's hard to be a BMET and go to school full time. So yeah, so that's how it got. So I was like, Google BMET, Google CBET, Google, and I'm like, there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
If we're going to influence the industry, what's the best way to influence the industry? You look at influencers, which is a new word. I mean, you think about it over the past 10 years, what is it? It's podcasts, it's TikTok, it's Instagram. So I looked into like how you do a podcast, way beyond my skill set. Again, I shoot well, I don't sew or know how to do a podcast. Can't do all this part, but I got the idea. I'm the idea girl. So, I ran it by leadership and at first I thought I was crazy. They're like, no one's gonna listen. And then Right to Repair was really hot at the time. And so I just started looking and, looking at hashtags on LinkedIn, like who was talking about Right to Repair.
Right.
So I actually stalk people for a little bit before I invite them on as a guest. Because I want to get to know what they're passionate about, right? And and how they're influencing, if they're involved in HTM. And I'm saying involved, not just wearing, the title. How are they involved with growing the industry and being a mentor, or maybe their opinions on certain topics? I think a lot of us in any role as leaders, it's our duty to let people know how you feel, and that shared information becomes your platform. And so HTM Insider is how it started. I mean, we're almost 40 episodes recorded. I think we have one more to record, and we're at 40 episodes. And so I just really look for people, and it takes a lot because they're busy to schedule them, right? So yeah, so that's how it got started. And I talk about what they want to talk about. I say, give me 3 topics, and I want to look and make sure we just didn't do it, right? And I'll pick one, and I'll just ask for a couple talking points, just to help the conversation. And then we just have a conversation like y'all do right here on Girls on Fire. So.
Well, that's awesome. I really like it too, because you get some great talent. I think it just shows how well connected you are though in this year. I know you have to go out there and like get these people and get their schedule and all of that. But I wanted to kind of touch on that too, like how, okay, you said you came from 2 other industries that had nothing to do with biomed before you even got here. So how do you feel like you became so connected? I think that would be super helpful for young listeners, like knowing your process of that.
Well, so I was given the territory of Nevada, particularly Las Vegas.
Okay.
Now I could go to Las Vegas, sure. I know all the great restaurants, right? And I had a LinkedIn connection of like 45 people. And I Googled how can you connect, and it said go on LinkedIn and ask to be friends. And it was really difficult in the beginning. And I had the free one, right? So I'm like, oh, I want to connect with that person. I want to be their friend. I want to, and I get like the LinkedIn message, you cannot connect with anybody anymore today. But seriously, in I probably 9-year span, I just reached over 15,000 connections and followers. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. I don't accept everybody. I mean, I probably have 200 requests sitting in my inbox right now. If you just don't fit into what my message is, I'm not letting you have access to my network, nor do I want you to reach my platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta get out and shake hands. You gotta meet people. You gotta be not afraid to say hello. And hello is easy. There's nothing else you have to say, right? Hi, I'm Chyrill. We haven't met before. Oh, Kristen. So nice to meet you. Know who you with? That's all you have to do. You don't have to go up and sell them. You don't have to go up and, elevator pitch them. You don't need to tell your life story. Ask them questions. And I'm really bad with names. I'll be the first to admit it. I had meningitis that I almost died from like 25 years ago, and I still can't get that back. I have a really hard time with names. But I'll remember how you make me feel.
Mm-hmm.
I remember if I laugh with you. I'll remember details of a wedding that I did so many years ago. I can't remember the bride and groom's name, but I can tell you exactly the look. And that when people smile and when people laugh, and Megan and I do it all the time, but that's how you make them feel. And so that's how you're going to be in their life.
You are literally one of the most genuine people. I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt, Chyrill. Like,
Thank you.
Honestly, like truly, you and I have connected, and like M&S has been one of my clients, I want to say, since I've been here for almost 7 years. I remember meeting with Brandon Nealand at Amy, and I think it was maybe I don't know if Long Beach was my first one. I don't remember, but it was Brandon Nealand, and I met with Mike McRoberts, and then I worked with a few other people, and then probably the past 3-ish years, you and I have worked together on the marketing. And I truly just enjoy you, and anybody that comes up to you, and this is just like me, like straight up telling any young professional, if you need a friend in the industry and you want to learn something, go to Chyrill, because she also teaches a class, and it's about how to like talk to people. Am I right?
Yeah, it's customer service skills and social skills it's towards biomeds, right? It's a lot of hospital experience, but it's really, I taught customer service to law enforcement, right? It's really translatable. And it's just about how they feel at the moment. So that's something you have to remember. But thank you, Megan. That's so sweet. We laugh together all the time.
Yeah, and I'm another, like, literally, I think it was 2 years ago. So I said I have to renew MMS's advertising campaign, and she was like, "Do you guys want to come meet me at this restaurant over here?" And her and I had a margarita, and we talked about their advertising for the next year, and just laughed and laughed. And like, Chyrill will tell me, she's like, "No, Megan, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that." But I just appreciate that relationship so much, where I can have fun with my clients who become friends. So anyways, that's my whole spiel, is that if you don't know Chyrill, you need to go up there. If you see her at a conference, she's almost at every single conference that I'm at, more than what I'm at or Kristen's at. And you got to know her, and you'll love her.
Your energy is so like infectious. That's every time I'm around you, I just smile. I'm like, you're just such a warm, like loving soul. I'm like, this is and especially at Expo when we're running around with our heads cut off, I'm like, whew, now I can have a break and smile and actually speak to someone that like is kind and doesn't need anything from me other than just like a nice conversation. I'm like, thank you for that.
Yeah. So
and I've been in your shoes doing big events, right? And I know how your mind is firing 15 different directions. And somebody's like, well, I don't have power, right? Can I get this? And my booth's not in the right space. And, oh, we didn't get that banner up. And I get it, right? And sometimes I see you guys and I just want to smile and say, how you doing, Kristen? Because it gives you a breath, right?
I'm drowning. How are you?
That's okay. It's okay. It's being honest.
No. Well, okay, I want to talk about one more thing and then we'll go into a little fun round that we want to do here at the end with you. Chyrill is nominated for Influencer of the Year for our 2025 Tech Choice Awards. She is up against some amazing people, friends of ours, and what does that mean to you, Chyrill, to be nominated for that?
Well, first, very, very surprised, very humbled by it. I don't think I try to influence. I just try to stay consistent with my message, the platform that I'm about. When you're saying about connecting with people, that's really what I'm about, right? And being authentic. And authentic is different to a lot of people. I mean, you're authentic in the moment. For instance, when I was in law enforcement, when I showed up at a call, and I can direct people to sit down right now and right, no more talking, and I can command that scene. I'm being very authentic there. I'm very authentic to my grandchildren. They get a different side of me. But being authentic professionally is not being afraid of taking that mask off and letting people get to know you. And I think that's where maybe my influence has come about, is just being open and connecting people. I feel that it's kind of my superpower in a way. If I was to wear a cape, is I can like, oh, that person would be great with that person, and this is why. So the wonderful other nominees in the category, I'm just so honored to be in their space. They're true heroes. I appreciate all that they're doing in the industry, lifting it up, being inspirational on so many levels. So it's truly an honor.
Good. Well, it works. Go ahead, Kristen.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like influencers in all realms, the number one thing that I hear from them is like they always said their platform didn't really like take off until they were being so authentically themselves. I think a lot of people strive to hold influence, but they try to do it in a very inauthentic way of let me show this amazing part of my life, but not sometimes the real moments. And that's where you sometimes don't reach that success. But you saying that you just do it in such a genuine, authentic way, I think that really does shine through in everything you do. Like you
Yeah.
really do make someone feel like a close friend or even just like a part of your realm, whether it's a picture on social media or just face to face. Like I just want to applaud you for that. And that's why you deserve to be on that list. So
Thank
just
you.
Well, I also wanted to say that you all, this is your second year going into MMS supporting the Tech Choice Awards 2 in a different category, which is Association of the Year. You all are doing that one again. So I wanted to talk about why you felt the need. This was even before you were nominated. You supported it in 2024 as well. So why you thought that would be a great item for MMS to add on to support.
Well, so we're a national based company, and we have reps, client solution directors across the nation, and we all attend the local HTM associations where we're at. And I'll call Alabama out here for a second, and they're gonna like that. Is they didn't know what to do. They wanted to get an association started, and seeing so many different associations grow up, I was able to help them step by step to get Alabama started again. And I think it's so important that we support all those organizations, because that's where the growth comes from. And for us to be leaders in the industry, we have to like do as we do, right? Do as we say, right? That's really important. And say as you do as you say, right? Dr. Seuss. But if we're going to call ourselves leaders in the industry, we need to act as leaders in the industry and support the industry in the same way.
Well, we appreciate that. And guys, if you go on to onetechnation.com/techchoiceawards, you can find all the categories that you can go ahead and vote for. I believe the deadline is January 10th. So go on there, go check out Influencer of the Year, Association. We have Director and Manager. You'll find them all there, but make sure you go ahead and vote for all of them because they need your votes. Okay, so one last segment we're going to have. So this is going to be like rapid fire.
Oh, I'm excited. And I have to answer this or that.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
This
So
shows you I have no idea what we're doing.
I'll start. I'll
Right
start
here.
with an easy one. I think you have one of the best fashion sense at the show, so this was my question. So, high heels or sneakers?
It depends if you're talking to Chyrill or Chyrill. It was 10 years younger. Sneakers now. 10 years ago, I wore the best shoes.
You had
You
the
know,
best shoes.
or that or cowboy boots. Cowboy boots are great.
Cowboy boots. Love that.
Sorry.
I have living in an RV or living in an actual house.
Right now, an RV is freeing.
Okay.
It's liberating.
Love that. Night owl or early riser?
Oh gosh, see, I'm so like, I love the first morning sun, but then I love like spending that time like maybe watching a movie or doing something. I'm kind of both, right? I know.
I'm the same way. When we do these, I'm like, I can
Yeah.
justify anything. I'm like, well, in the morning I do this, and at night I do this. So
Yeah.
I'm the
I
same
love
way.
to get out there and watch the sunrise, but I love to be like when the stars are out and like sit out by a campfire and listen to the animals. I don't know.
So I'm going to give you a really hard one. So this is why we do this, because it's kind of like hard. And if you want to plead the fifth, I'll let you have one. Okay. So
You know.
since you said that you support the associations, MMS goes to all the shows, all of that, we're going to do a little feud between East Coast and West Coast. So do you like more, and it could be like the association in general or just the conference, FBS, so Florida Biomed Society, or CMIA, the California Society?
Oh my God. I love them both, but for different reasons, right? I think, how can I say this? I think that they have totally different agendas. Yeah, I love my girl Jen Nichols, and I love everybody at FBS. I'll be there. I think I'm going to come for a day in December. I can't do the conference, but I'm coming. But I Megan. Yeah,
I know. Well, FBS
That
had
was all her. I didn't have any part of that. I'm letting you know right now. That was all her.
Listen, on our last one that we had a guest, we had John Krieg on, and we made him choose between Kennedy and Sydney, his two daughters.
Okay, he pled the fifth, and I
Yeah,
said, as
yeah.
our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Chris Jenner once said, everyone does have favorites. It just depends on the time.
Right, true. When I live in the moment, so in the moment you are my favorite. That's as political you can get right there.
That's amazing. Okay,
right.
my next one is tequila or vodka?
Tequila. Well, not at work though. Vodka is a lot better. Tequila's fun, Chyrill.
Hey, we're tequila girls on this platform, so
Yeah,
great answer.
tequila.
All right. And my last one, which I think I know what your answer is going to be, what's more fun, being a mom or being a grandma?
Grandmom.
I know when you started the entire podcast with that, I was like, I know the answer to the last question.
Yeah. It's more fun just because you don't have that day to day. I can go in and help my daughter, because I have one daughter that has two kids right now. I can go and help and do all the things, cook and help with laundry and the day to day, or help with the babies or pick them up from school. But it's the joy of realizing that you not only created her, but your legacy is living on in their hearts and their eyes. So I love that.
Oh, this is so, Chyrill, we just have loved having you on. Thank you so much for being here. You can come back anytime you want.
Oh, yes.
Please. And the wig? I can't. I love it so much. I love it. It looks so good.
I probably should have had my hairdresser do my bangs because they were really long.
You just like started cutting them a little.
I was, yeah.
Well,
No, it's truly my honor, ladies. It really is. I love you both to death, and I love that you're doing this podcast, and it's so fun, and it's off the rails, and I just wish you the biggest success and to continue on doing what you're doing.
thank you. We appreciate it. I am going to make one last announcement before we jump off. So our friend Dave Scott, hey Dave, we know you watch our podcast.
He's gonna be like, what?
We love Dave Scott so much. And Dave came to our boss, John Krieg, and talked to us a little bit about that he wants to help anybody that wants to present at one of our conferences, somebody who's never presented but is a little nervous to. He would like to join in with you and basically work on a presentation together that you guys could present at one of our MD Expos or HTM Mixers coming up in the future. I think this is such a good tool, especially if you're a young professional out there and you really have some ideas of something you want to present on, and you're going to be working with somebody who's a veteran in this industry, knows it, knows every angle of the HTM industry. So I feel like this would be a great opportunity for somebody out there if it's something you want to proceed with. So we'll have some more information on all of our social media channels, I'm sure on our website, but you can always reach out to us and we can connect you with Dave or whatever you need. Reach out to us on social media, email us, whatever, we'll help you get there. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, we think so too. So I'm hoping somebody will really take advantage of it.
We'll put the cool little graphic that Kennedy made here, and it's Dave and like Uncle Sam. We want you.
Oh, I love it.
He looks amazing.
Don't be scared, right? If you have somebody that wants to mentor you, this is your opportunity to jump at that chance, right? I mean, go for it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Nobody shows up? I thought about that about HTM Insider. They're gonna show up, trust me.
100%. Well, again, thank you, Chyrill. And guys, we will see you again soon for our last episode in December. I cannot believe we're at the end of 2024, but thank you all for being here, and make sure you guys subscribe to TechNation TV and never miss an episode of Girls on Fire. Bye, guys.